not saying people don't change, but we have to know the difference between being performative versus actual change. And I am so glad that Jasmine Crockett is not falling for Marjorie Taylor Greene's BS. Let's get into the show, but first hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Man, we in for a ride. The way that the media is so in love with Marjorie Taylor Greene makes me sick. And the reason why is not necessarily what she's saying. It's that, first, this lady is a whole hypocrite. Two, Jasmine Crockett and AOC have been saying the same stuff that Marjorie Taylor Greene has been saying. But for some reason, everybody thinks Marjorie Taylor Greene is like the second coming of Jesus. No, let's not forget. She voted for this bill that increased our premiums on our health care. She's not a saint, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into this video from Jasmine Crockett. Here we go, you guys.
I applaud all federal workers that have consistently decided to show up with no guarantee that they'll get their money anytime soon, right? Knowing that they could probably go and get a job somewhere else, knowing that they were never paid their due in the first place, and knowing that the members of Congress, especially the House, that we are continuously being paid. And if there is anybody that is not working, it is the House. And we know that the House Republican Speaker has failed to bring us in. He could have brought us in and passed all 12 appropriation bills and sat them right there on the desk of the Republicans in the Senate. And they could have been voting. They could have been opening up different parts of the government gradually. We could have been doing work, but because he's decided to prioritize protecting pedophiles, we couldn't get it done.
You know who agrees with you? Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Listen to what she's had to say just this night.
With this upcoming crisis with health insurance premiums skyrocketing, I think this is like a 5-alarm fire. And to me, it is incredibly embarrassing, and I find absolutely pathetic, really, that all of us are not here in Washington, D.C., working every single day to make sure that we keep the government open, but also solve the problem of affordability for the American people and come up with a good solution once and for all for health insurance.
Your reaction?
This woman is in the majority and she's in Congress. She almost talks like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I have no say so. Like, literally, lady, like, you can talk to Mike Johnson. He is the leader of Congress, the speaker, but he is on your side. I'm pretty sure you can get through to him more than a Jasmine Crockett or an AOC or anybody else on the Democratic side. And honestly, to tell you the truth, bitch, what's your plan for healthcare? Like, why don't you suggest something? You know, you want to say, oh, we don't have a plan, we don't know, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure we'll come up with one. Well, why don't you come up with one? You take the initiative.
Yeah, hell may have frozen over because we are agreeing more than we're not. But I will tell you that while there is a new Marjorie, as some people have said, I do want to give people an opportunity to do their research. And the reality is that the big ugly bill, it only passed with one vote. And if one more Republican would have defected, which we had maybe 2 Republicans that defected, if we would have just had one more, then we would not be talking about higher insurance premiums. Marjorie Taylor Greene voted for this. Point blank, period. Her constituents were the ones that were on the receiving end of this. In fact, I'm sure that we can find tape in committee of me going down and talking about how many people in their Republican districts were going to lose health care, how many children were going to lose health care because of that bill. Now, maybe she didn't care about those on Medicaid and Medicare, and Democrats spent a lot of time talking about the fact that 15 to 17 million were going to lose their health care, but they didn't fully understand, I guess, that when you remove $1 trillion from the healthcare ecosystem, everybody else has to pay in. Also, that the top 1%ers can keep more money in their pockets. At the same time that we've not raised the minimum wage, we're seeing record breaking profits from those at the top. We know that there are talks about Elon becoming the first trillionaire that we've ever seen in the world. So you tell me if I am feeling so sad for Marjorie or buying into this, because I don't understand why she didn't do the right thing when she had a chance. So there's two issues that we have going on. The big ugly bill is what caused our insurance premiums to go up. But in addition to that, Republicans have decided to kick people while they're down. So if you are on the marketplace, if that's where you get your health care, then that tax subsidy is set to expire at the same time that they made the tax cuts permanent for those at the top. And they have decided they don't want to talk about giving them subsidies. So while your insurance may go from, say, $200 a month to, say, $1,000 a month, but if you were on the marketplace, you were going to get, say, $250 credit a month. Now they're saying, we also want to take that away.
I hear affordability to what you're talking about, which was the precise message in the mayoral election and a lot of Tuesday nights victories for Democrats. Do you see that as instructive of what will happen for the midterms?
I do. If we keep it up and we make sure that people understand, right now we know that the Supreme Court is looking at whether or not they are going to overturn the tariffs, that in my opinion, there is no question about the fact that they have been illegally inflicted upon all of us. These tariffs have been one of the many reasons that our lives are more unaffordable. So what I don't want to happen is once and if the Supreme Court decides to save Donald Trump from himself and things maybe reduce in cost, that people say, well, everything's going well, and they don't fully understand. It wasn't him. It wasn't him. If it
You know, one thing I want to say about this too is that Marjorie Taylor Greene has not turned on Trump. She's literally saying that we need to open up Congress so then we can codify the executive orders that Trump was making. So my thing is, and some people are all like, okay, well, yeah, she's not bashing him. What does that have to do with anything? There is no way in hell that you look at a man with all these executive orders and all these policies that are hurting Americans, like the tariffs, and you don't put any blame on him. If you listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene, what she has been saying is that, oh, he's in an echo chamber and, you know, they keep him secluded. And so he's not hearing everything that everyone's talking about. He's just saying the stuff that people are telling him. Okay, well, why don't you take the initiative to try to tell him or educate him or, you know, let him know what's going on? You take the initiative. Again, but you want to go on every news station, on The View here and there. But again, what are you doing? You are in the majority, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You should be able to do more than anyone else can. Let's be honest about that. So it's BS, you know? And also, they do ask Jasmine Crockett if she's running for Senate. So we're going to continue and let the video play.
Was up to him, you still would be suffering. He still would be telling you maybe you won't have 10 baby dolls, but instead 2 for Christmas. He would still be looking at you crazy every time you're like, well, Mr. President, Canada is our friend or Mexico is our friend. So why is it that you're making it more difficult? Why is it that we are not going to have the great trade partners, even when you're in Texas? Our biggest trade partner is Mexico. You know, so I want to make sure that we communicate. If there is any kind of relief that comes because of tariffs, that it was the Supreme Court. And y'all know I don't love the Supreme Court. So, I mean, if I'm giving credit there, then that means they deserve the credit.
Well, talking about communication in the form of advice you would give to Mayor-elect Mamdani. You've been at the receiving end of a great deal of criticism, a lot of visceral reactions and vile rhetoric thrown your way. He receives a great deal of it. What is your advice to Mamdani?
Listen, I don't know that he needs my advice. He has been a master. And frankly, he could do a master class for all Democrats on communication, whether you're talking about speaking with passion and heart and just talking to the working class, not worried about the billionaires. They're going to be fine. In fact, the better that the working class does, the better they do. That means that they've got the employees that they need to make the profits that they need. And ultimately, we are the ones that spend the money. I don't think he needs me. What I think is that our party needs to learn from Mamdani. They need to learn about organizing people on all levels. They need to learn to talk to everyone and not just those double D's or triple D's, which are the people that always come out. They need to not necessarily give up on anybody. They need to go to places that they aren't used to seeing Democrats. Like, one of the things that I did on the presidential is I kept telling them, send me to rural America. I have things that I need to say. I lived in East Texas and I understand it.
Will you use that advice possibly for a run for the Senate?
We're still evaluating that. But yeah, I think that it is about expanding the electorate and making sure that people know, especially as Texans, number one, that I'm Texas tough, and that ultimately my priority will be Texans, whether you are in rural Texas or urban Texas. People need to understand that we have more in common than divides us. And that is exactly what I would hope to do, is to bridge that gap.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thank you.
Yeah, I feel
now
like
you can hate my style, but at the end of the day,
John Cronin, his seat, yeah, I think Jasmine should definitely go for that seat. I think, you know, at this time, you need somebody who's an effective communicator, somebody who is tough, somebody who is strong to really go at it. I think what Democrats don't do is put enough money and time into places like Texas, because Texas is majority minority, just like here in California. So you would think like, well, damn, maybe, you know, what's going on in Texas, you know, well, we know gerrymandering. Well, what's going on in Texas where they can't flip that state, you know? So you do need somebody like a Jasmine Crockett, who I do think can reach across the aisle, because at the end of the day, she's going to put it in layman's terms where it's not going to be all this sophistication and stuff. Like, she's going to tell you how it is. And like, okay, you want something answered, she's going to tell you just flat out. She's not going to take you around in circles and try to, you know, think of things to say. Like, she's just going to tell you the truth. So I think she'll be perfect at that, or at least being out there, advocating, but not protesting. What, campaigning? That's the word. I'm sorry, y'all. Campaigning for the person, whoever it is. But I think somebody like Jasmine Crockett would be perfect for that position. Also, going back to Marjorie Taylor Greene, my thing is like, lady, you voted for this bill and you admitted that you did not read the bill. So now you care about healthcare and all this stuff, but you are literally a part of the problem. So you get no love. I'm sorry. Like, that's crazy if you think that, oh, everyone has forgotten like how you've been and how shitty of a person you've been this whole time. And now, you know, these few Democrats are like, oh my God, she's coming around. No, Marjorie Taylor Greene has aspirations. You can say she's not running for Senate, she's not running for president, but, excuse me, she has bigger aspirations. I can guarantee you that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And let me know if you think Jasmine Crockett should run for senator. Also, what do you guys think about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Do you think of, you know, this whole rebrand or change of heart? Like, I think it's BS, but you let me know. All right, love y'all. Deuces, everybody.